We continue our live coverage of Hurricane Helene's devastating impacts on the Tampa Bay region. In parts of South Tampa, the city's invested millions of dollars over the last few years to mitigate flooding. But when Helene came through our area, homeowners still saw several feet of water get into their homes. And now some are asking how that could have happened. This is an ongoing conversation. 10 Tampa Bay's Eric Glasser is live in South Tampa. And Eric, you spoke with folks who saw feet of water inside their homes.
Yeah, Frank and Courtney, and this is what you see all over South Tampa right now. I've spoken with several of those people. Their lives are just out on their front lawns. Take a look, you can see it, just memories and all sorts of other materials that were inside of their houses. And it's as far as the eye can see in areas like this on the south side and on the west side of Manhattan Avenue. Take a look at these pictures. It is true what you said. Over the last few years, Tampa has been spending tens of millions of dollars on mitigation projects, new sewer systems, pipes, pumps, and more to try to move water out of this part of our area. I spoke with the city about it. They say, look, it's a fair question as to why, with all of these infrastructure upgrades, we've seen so much damage. But the reason, they say, is that Helene did not bring the heavy rain that those improvements are meant to mitigate. Instead, this was a storm surge that simply overwhelmed the system.
When it rains really, really hard for long periods of time, we have standing, my whole backyard will be underwater. And so I don't really know what necessarily the pump station or some of the other projects, what that's remediated, but we're still seemingly having the same problem.
So all of our stormwater pump stations were up and running. They worked. The challenge was when you have storm surge, in essence, the bay coming into the city, the rivers flowing into the city because they were flooding, there's nowhere to pump that water out to. The pumps ultimately pumped to the outfalls, but the outfalls were filled and 4 and 5 feet above their normal levels, and that bay was coming in.
So going forward, how will the city of Tampa try to address this sort of issue? Well, ironically, just a couple of weeks ago, city leaders commissioned a study to look into how to harden our region against storm surge, higher seawalls, raising properties, and other measures. So at least the process of studying that is underway. But in the long run, the real question is going to be whether or not the public has the appetite to pay for those sorts of improvements and hardening of our resources in order to try to avoid this happening again in the future. A couple of weeks ago, if you would have asked taxpayers how they feel about that, you might have been a tough sell. But after seeing all of this, it's very possible that people's attitudes have changed. In South Tampa, Eric Glasser, 10 Tampa Bay.